Welcome back to GMT, and thank you so much for staying with us. This morning we wrap conversations by speaking with Nickosy Phillips, who is embarking on a UN summit of the future there in the United States of America as they meet with members of two African countries to speak on very, very important matters that affect me, you, and almost everyone here on the globe. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you and good morning to all the viewers of Trinidad and Tobago and our international guests who are looking on via social media.
Of course, and you're embarking on these conferences that are taking place in New York there at the United Nations. So tell us a little bit about the conversations that will be had, the theme, the topic, and the purpose for participating in these conferences.
Well, the first, on the 17th, I was requested by His Excellency, Honorable... the Excellency, the President of Sierra Leone and his wife to be the featured speaker at the Youth Association in Sierra Leone. It is Global Youth Summit on Sustainable Development Goals, where I will be talking on young people, big ideas, working together. So it's 4 segments, and my segment will be to talk about youth development, policies for youth development going forward for the next 5 to 10 years, to lay some policies, especially in tourism, and to spread it across the border on gender policies, equality policies, and some of the policies here that we use in community development and tourism. As I would have had a meeting yesterday with the Secretary of Tourism to talk with her and to get some of the policies of tourism, and she would have also given us some tokens of appreciation to extend to the President and some of the ministerial positions there. The second meeting after Sierra Leone is the African Indigenous Council, where His Excellency Dr. King Robinson Tani, he's the King of Ghana, I believe, and also the President General of the African Indigenous Council, who they invited me also. They're going to have a UN Summit of Future Action Days, where we're going to be talking about, this is where all the presidents, prime ministers, kings of all the African continents will be discussing gender policies going forward, tourism. They're going to also have a business summit where we will be, me and my executive will be going and trying to market some little products of Tobago. We're going to market the October Carnival. As I said, we spoke to the Secretary of Tourism. We got some bags, so we're going to share that. And tourism is also going to give us some clips so we can highlight Tobago and to push Tobago as much as possible to see how best we can merge this African relationship with not only the Tobago contingent or TTU to rise, but the whole of Trinidad and Tobago, especially Tobago. I'm trying to push Tobago, especially in this African summit.
You spoke about some of the topics being youth development. What are some of the areas you'd like to discuss or to bring to the fore as it relates to development of young people or youth across the globe and primarily here in Tobago?
I am also now one of the executive members for the Enforced Marriage in South Africa, the executive of the United Nations in that content. So I want to talk about enforced marriages and some things that still have loopholes where persons could have children and marry them still. We want to also talk about gender policies in terms of equality and the rights for young girls and young men, because we're putting too much focus and emphasis on protecting young women and leaving our young men at arms to do anything. So we need to put that. So also we're going to look at some policies in terms of international relationship where we could bridge the gap with the culture, especially the African culture, because we're seeing most of our dance groups now are doing some of the African culture. So I want to merge that gap so we can have that international partnership also with the African continent, seeing that they can come here, teach us some of their dances, and we could do vice versa, because they also wanted the steel band to be there, but we based on the load and the last minute we couldn't. But I want to make sure invite them here for the October Carnival, and from that I want to extend the courtesy, as I said to the Secretary of Tourism, Ms. Boris, that from this after, I'm taking a contingent of 15 to 20 persons next year to the UN, and this is where I'm going to bridge the gap, where everybody can be able to sell not only Tobago, but to sell themselves, to market the product of Tobago. And this is the this at the United Nations is a level where it's supposed to start. And, I'm just trying to do my best as much as possible.
You mentioned, of course, a couple of times that you have that measure of support from the Secretary of Tourism to go and do what you have to do there, have the conversations as well. How is that relationship in terms of ensuring that you had that support, or how important was it for you to make sure you have that support as you go out there to represent Tobago?
Yeah, as soon as I spoke to her, she was like, "Listen, we need to meet." She arranged a meeting yesterday. I met her at the office, and we had a good dialogue. I showed her the information I would have given her before, and I asked her if there's any information that you would like, and she was on it as much as possible. And she asked, she said that they have Destination Tobago, they have the carnival and stuff, they had the videos, so it would be helpful. So I like the initiative, and the relationship is good. As I said, putting politics aside is good, and I'm glad that we could put that aside and actually still work for the benefit of the people. Remember, somebody told me, because you have to remember, you may have personal attacks against you, but let that stay at personal. But when you represent the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and you have to make sure not, use that personal attack to not benefit from the international agencies outside to support the people of Tobago. So, I'm glad that, putting that relationship aside, putting that political aside, and actually putting the effort into, supporting this, because, this is really good for Trinidad and Tobago. The only problem, as I said to her, is that when I come back, I cannot do the work because, one, the private sector don't fund, and two, to get a facility to do the programs, so share these programs. And the NGOs and them in Tobago, they are very selfish, because when you call upon them to actually, come out and try to listen or to do, they don't come, they don't support their own, and they don't even support each other. So what I'm trying to do is to bridge the gap, because next year I am going to be holding a youth NGO summit here in Trinidad and Tobago, and it's not 5,000, it's not 6,000, it's over 10,000 people from different NGOs around the world, and that's going to be hard. Even the Secretary of Tourism said, when we have the okay on that, let us liaise with her, write to the Chief Secretary, and let's see how best they can help, so we could, because this is bringing marketing to Tobago, this is bringing the economy up to a level and stuff. So, I'm glad that she came on board, and I'm always in support of working together for the benefit of the people of Tobago.
Absolutely amazing. And I too am very happy that we have this measure of collaboration, that we can actually put Tobago on the map in that way, and of course improve the way we interact with each other, and ensure that at the end of the day we all benefit from what is available, because there's so many things that are of benefit to all of us. So the collaborative effort is really, really appreciated, and I really wish you the best as you go out there representing Tobago and coming back with results, and ensuring that we are able to maximize all the things that are available to us out there in the outside world, because most of us only know what is happening here in this little box of Tobago. Of course, we have that stamp where we are aiming towards becoming the greatest little island on the planet. And so to become the greatest little island on the planet, we have to have some measure of collaboration and establish our identity. So thank you so much, and thank you to all the collaborators. Thank you to the Secretary of Tourism, who is coming on board to give you that measure of support and that push to go out there and represent the island of Tobago as you embark on your project. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Nickosy Phillips as they embark on summits there in the United Nations, speaking about youth development and other things that affect us right here on the island of Tobago. Of course, trying to establish us as a tourism destination and market us there on a global forum. Thank you so much, Nickosy, for doing that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have to end GMT this morning, and we're so happy that you stayed with us even till the very end. And of course, it's Friday. As we head on into the weekend, I want to say have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Whatever you do, be safe out there. Have a good time. Spend time with family and friends, and put aside some time for yourself. Yes, you do need some self-care as well. So take good care of yourself as you head on onto this weekend. Have a wonderful, wonderful time. This is where we say goodbye.
Let's go. It's a brand